It's 2.5 inches for Klitschko, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. Wladimir Klitschko weighed 242 when he reported to training camp and enters the ring tonight at about 241. Brock, 224.5. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
Wladimir Klitschko, Kevin Brock fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case the cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards if the 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
Calvin Brock hails from Charlotte, North Carolina, not exactly a hotbed of boxing trainers or sparring partners. When he first started to fight as an amateur at age 12, his father had to elect to train him, even though, by his own admission, he knew nothing about boxing. He's come a long way from there, Larry.
Yeah, he trained him out of manuals and tapes, got him to the Olympics. After the Olympics, they got a professional trainer. He believes that he belongs here, says he is better than any fighter that Klitschko has beaten.
So Brock enters the ring saying that he's ready to box 12 rounds, but you suspect in the back of your mind that, like all Wladimir Klitschko opponents, he's thinking of trying to get a power punch to the Klitschko chin. Is that the right plan for him, Lennox?
Well, he's got to do something. Definitely, Klitschko is known for having a glass chin. Whether he can get in against a big man is the question, because it's difficult to really get in against Klitschko because he boxes as a tall fighter. Plus, he's got a great trainer, Emmanuel Stewart, which is a trainer of champions that, you know, he knows how to box anybody that gets in front of him.
And now Brock waits in the ring, and Klitschko prepares for the kind of entrance he would make on German television, where his career was nurtured along with that of his brother Vitaly. Remember, when they came out of Ukraine, they were at first promoted by German promoters and fought their fights in Germany, and therefore, Larry, extreme Prince Nassim Hamed style theatricality for the Klitschko entrance.
Well, they like their drama. They like to set up these big fights, almost like an opera. Lights flashing, and this huge, beautiful man suddenly appearing.
First defense of the belt that he won from Chris Bird in Germany earlier this year. It was his second destruction of Bird, who made a classic misjudgment in seeming to want to fight a big man's power fight against a much bigger man.
But interesting, Jim, of the hundreds, if not thousands of fighters who have won belts, he's the only one you've ever heard say, that doesn't make me a champion. He won't consider himself the heavyweight champion until he beats the top guys out there.
Klitschko enters, and as you can hear, despite the fact that Brock is the American fighter, this is a Klitschko house in New York, an international city. Germans, Ukrainians, Russians, and a lot of Americans love Wladimir. Now let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the world's capital of sports and entertainment and the Mecca of professional boxing, Madison Square Garden, New York City, USA, K2 Promotions, in association with Main Events, along with Madison Square Garden, HBO Sports, and RTL, and sponsorship by Mineral Experts, ComAdvice.com, are proud to present the featured bout of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the heavyweight championship of the world. Sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission Chairman, Mr. Ron Scott Stevens. The International Boxing Federation President, Ms. Marion Mohammed, and the International Boxing Organization President Ed Levine. At ringside, The 3 judges scoring this bout on the 10-point system will be Don Ackerman, Luis Rivera, and Peter Trematera. And inside the ring, the man in charge of the action, referee Wayne Kelly. And now, for the thousands in attendance here at Madison Square Garden and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white with gold, official weight 224 1/2 pounds. His professional record, a perfect one. 29 bouts, 29 victories, including 22 knockouts, and this U.S. Olympian is the only ranked heavyweight contender in the world today who has never lost a professional bout. From Charlotte, North Carolina, USA, the undefeated challenger, the boxing banker, Calvin Brown. Fighting out of the red corner, wearing red with gold letters, official weight 241 pounds. Since capturing Olympic gold in 1996, he now has a professional record consisting of 46 victories, including 41 knockouts, only 3 defeats, and 2 world titles. From Kiev, Ukraine, the reigning, defending, 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, the Steel Hammer, Dr. Wladimir Klitschko.
Good evening, Calvin. Good evening, Wladimir. We're boxing for the heavyweight championship of the world. I expect a clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Shake hands. Come out boxing at the bell. Good luck. 12 rounds.
You don't need a college degree to know that the winner of this fight will have the best chance of unifying the heavyweight division, because he will have the most economic clout, meaning the other top fighters will want to fight him.
Wladimir, go over by your corner. Back to your corner. Back to your corner till the bell rings. I'll send you out.
Round 1 begins. Wladimir Klitschko's first landed punch against an off-balance Brock sends him skittering across the canvas. Brock seemingly doesn't have his feet under him yet, Lennox. Is that nerves?
He just has to get adjusted to the fight. You know, stars make fights, and this is his first round, so he definitely has to get warmed up into the first round.
Now Brock begins to throw punches. I'm reminded a little bit of Michael Grant and how eager and anxious when he came into the ring against you here in Madison Square Garden, Lennox, and of course by the second round he was snuffed out. Brock seems to be getting his sea legs, but now he falls again.
Wladimir Klitschko, Jim, was on the undercard of that fight.
Fighting David Bastos, and he set a CompuBox record for jabs by a heavyweight.
His only other appearance at the Garden.
But it's probably helpful, isn't it, Lennox, that he has fought here once before and Brock has not.
Wladimir has a lot of experience, and that's what he has over Calvin Brock right now, especially when it comes to big fights like this.
A lot of people thought 3 years ago that Jameel McCline, or 4 years ago, that Jameel McCline might be able to compete against Wladimir Klitschko. McCline, when he looked across the ring at Klitschko and his vast amateur experience, seemed to freeze a little bit. Brock has appeared nervous in the first minute and a half of the fight. Seems to be getting his legs now, but hasn't landed anything significant. Klitschko hasn't really landed his jab yet, as he waits to see when Brock is going to settle down. Now's the jab, and that's Klitschko's best weapon, his relentless jab, Lennox, which sets up the rest of his offense.
Right with that jab, he's just stepping. And right now he's mixing up his feet with Klitschko's.
Lennox, over the years training you, Klitschko's trainer Emanuel Stewart developed a sort of a science for how a big man, particularly somebody 6'5", 6'6", like you, like Klitschko, should fight in the heavyweight division. What are the basic principles?
Basic principles is stay tall, definitely jab a lot, and you know, work that jab until you see an opening and then throw a combination.
What's the engineering of staying tall?
Well, right now you can see an example of it right now with Wladimir Klitschko, and he's doing a proper job.
Keeping his head up, his hands high.
Brock still hasn't figured out how to get inside the reach of Klitschko.
Styles always make fights, and you know, Calvin needs to really get inside of Klitschko right now.
Round one seemed to be a bit of a nervous experience for Calvin Brock. And Wladimir Klitschko took his time, landed a few jabs, seemed to have controlled the round.
I think you're going to hit him with the start, hitting him with the hook. You tried it one time, just missed him. Then he's going to get confused, and then the right hand will come through. But the jab is, you're controlling him good with this arm here. And eventually he's starting to fall apart, keeping the pressure on him. Very good patient fight. Keep controlling it with the left hand.
Getting more feints, okay?
Here's an example of Wladimir controlling the fight with the jab. And you definitely have to control the fight with the jab, just like Emanuel says.
Klitschko given credit by CompuBox for landing 11 out of 31 punches in the round, 10 of 28 jabs. Brock was seen by CompuBox to land 10 of 36, so it wasn't a particularly busy round for either fighter. And as you saw, Emanuel Stewart expressed satisfaction with the way Wladimir fought round number one. Calvin Brock's trainer, incidentally, Tommy Yankello. If you're wondering whether you've seen him before, he was with Paul Spadafora, lightweight contender for several years, who did a stint in prison and is coming back to the ring very shortly. Yankello, focusing on Brock, is not going to be working with Spadafora upon the time of his return. Klitschko's jab knocking Brock back a little bit there.
It's definitely a reach advantage for Klitschko, and it's difficult for Calvin Brock to get in. He's trying to get in, but it's hard.
Yeah. Brock looks like someone trying to find an address, and he hasn't found it yet.
Or a light switch in the dark.
Calvin, come on, you guys, keep it clean.
When people talk about Calvin Brock, the compliments fly, but there's nothing that suggests that anyone sees him as having something really special, a threatening weapon. He's seen to be a good fighter with both hands, well-balanced, well-rounded, defends well, fights well offensively. There just doesn't seem to be anything truly distinctive, Lennox, and in the heavyweight division, you need a weapon.
You need a weapon, definitely need a weapon. Right now, Wladimir seems like he's controlling the fight with his jab. He's controlling it, keeping him out at a distance, not letting him get too close to him. Well, he should be using his feet a lot more, you know what I mean? Moving around.
Brock now is looking to throw the right hand over the jab. I think he's got pretty good power in both hands, Jim. It may not be special power, one punch power, although we've seen him knock out an opponent with one punch. I think he punches pretty well, but he can't get to Klitschko with good balance so that he can throw a good punch yet.
A couple of left hooks to the body in this round for Calvin Brock. That might be a solution to the how to get inside problem over time.
Yeah, he seems to have found something with that, or he thinks he has.
There's a left hook upstairs for Wladimir Klitschko, partially blocked by Calvin Brock. You heard Emanuel Stewart asking Wladimir to throw the left hook. Straight right hand by Wladimir Klitschko. Doesn't often lead with the right. Well, that may be a new element in his game if we see it more often.
Let him go and step back.
Not a whole lot of contact by heavyweight standards in the first couple of rounds. A restless crowd waits for the explosion. December 2, live on HBO, Winky Wright coming off his draw with Jermaine Taylor takes on former 147-pound titleist Ike Quartey. 1 week later, middleweight champ Taylor defends his title against former 154-pound title holder Kasim Uma. 2 fascinating fights on World Championship Boxing.
How you feel? Okay, good. Close rounds, close rounds. All right, let's go. Seconds out.
Brock could have won that last round on his body punches. Klitschko didn't do much.
There's a little swelling under the right eye of the left eye of Vladimir Klitschko, perhaps from a Brock right hand. CompuBox numbers slightly favoring Brock, perhaps partially because of those body punches in round number 2. Klitschko hasn't really stepped up the tempo on his jab in the past. We've seen him throw sometimes 35, 40, 50 jabs per round. Nothing like that yet tonight. Both fighters looking cautious.
Yeah, Vladimir's doing a lot of measuring right now. And, you know, Calvin's still trying to work and trying to get inside, giving him different angles right now, which is the right thing he's doing. Right now he can only get to the body, so he's hitting the body.
Hey. Step back. One down. Let him down.
There was some fear that Klitschko would completely outclass Brock. I don't think that fear has been justified to now.
Certainly not. It's a give and take fight. It still seems to be a relatively cautious fight on both sides for heavyweights. And Klitschko seems far more sparing in his use of the jab than is normally the case, which indicates a fair amount of respect for Brock.
Well, it's not just the respect, but Brock keeps his hands high. He's got a pretty good defense, and Klitschko is unable to penetrate with more than one punch.
Now Klitschko committing to the right hand, tried it twice. And incidentally, when you're 6'6", you're not going to be, by definition, a body puncher. Lennox, you can talk about that point. It's harder for tall guys to throw body punches without worrying about something coming back.
It's very hard. Plus, you know, he ducks under the punches. Calvin ducks under the punches, and it makes it very difficult for Klitschko to hit him. Plus, he's a bit faster than Klitschko's fought. He's used to big guys, and he realizes that he's faster than bigger guys.
So Brock's speed superior to that of some Klitschko opponents, and perhaps the Klitschko fight plan to this point, indicating a slower pace for the Ukrainian fighter than has sometimes been evident. Now, some of that, of course, may have to do with the way he ran out of gas against Lehman Brewster. A fight in which he was able to land at will and ultimately perhaps landed too much.
Vladimir's finding it difficult to hit Calvin Brock with that jab.
And the crowd continues to get more restless. They wanted excitement.
You're doing it just like we were talking about the other, but you're not using it, keeping him at distance now. You're letting him get too close. And now he may be winning the fight, believe it or not. Because you've been waiting and waiting, and now you're letting him punch, and you're just leaning in, doing this. You got to start getting your distance and keeping him outside, and then you can catch him. But you're bending into him now. You're not using your distance anymore, okay? And get back to keep him at a distance. He's getting too close to you now. And he's on this.
Neither one are guilty, but you're both guilty, all right? Just try not to hold. I'm going to tell him the same thing.
You're on the inside, and you're throwing uppercuts up the middle.
Right.
Throw uppercuts up the middle, okay?
The main thing is just stay focused. Don't let them.
Right.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Right.
Keep the jab walking. The main thing is just stay focused. Don't let them.
Right.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Right.
Keep the jab walking and don't.
All right, let's go. Seconds go. Let's go.
CompuBox numbers through 3 rounds show a huge disparity in power punching, and you heard Emanuel Stewart talking about it to Wladimir Klitschko. Wladimir only 4 out of 31 in power shots through 3 rounds. Brock getting credit for 28 out of 52. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
I got it 2 rounds to 1, 29-28, Wladimir Klitschko. Jim, I gotta tell you something. What Wladimir is doing is he's not snapping that jab, he's pushing it. And it's really costing him. I mean, this is a guy that used to snap the jab, come over the top of that straight right hand. You know, he's a power puncher, but now he's just keeping it out and pushing it out. And that's what's hurting him. Calvin Brock did get in enough in the second round to win that. Third round was very close. They give it to Wladimir. 2-1, Klitschko.
Klitschko trying to get his jab going here in the early portion of round number 4. When you hear the encomia from Emanuel Stewart for the way Wladimir trained, you might have expected a faster pace than this. But Calvin Brock has landed enough body punches and has shown enough versatility in the first few rounds, perhaps to suggest some questions in Klitschko's mind. Good body punch by Brock with the right hand.
Let him go! Wait! No punch.
More body punching from Brock, who seems to be focused on the Klitschko torso for the moment.
It's just like 2 pieces of an apple that don't quite combine to make a whole apple. The styles are somewhere off, and the natives are getting restless.
Klitschko seems particularly energized now after having attempted to show Wayne Kelly that he thought Brock was holding him. Kelly wound up warning both fighters not to hold.
Step back.
Round 4 for schedule 12. Wladimir Klitschko in the red trunks. Calvin Brock in the white with gold. Kiev, Ukraine against Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Brock also spends time in Durham, where his wife Yolanda is in her final year at Duke Law School. Left-hand shot by Klitschko.
Brock is doing a great job by not getting hit by even jabs or right hands. And like I said, he's going to the bodies. That's the only thing he's hitting right now, he's getting to, and he's doing a good job at it.
Well, Brock's defensive skills were shown coming in the fact that CompuBox numbers showed opponents landing only about 20% of their punches against him over a long series of fights. And that's the kind of percentage that demonstrates that Brock makes himself difficult to hit. Klitschko may be having trouble simply with the fact that Brock knows how to defend.
Well, Klitschko, if he wants to get to Brock, he needs to relax a bit more. He's a bit tight, very tight. He's trying to push out his punches, should be more fluent with his punches.
Immediately following our show tonight, stick around for Countdown to Pacquiao Morales 3. A documentary-style look at both fighters as they prepare to meet in the rubber match, the 3rd time.
Fight still early. Okay, so don't get impatient. Okay?
Hey, Cal, give me this and give me jabs. And guess what? Use his hand and put it in the pocket and start catching, just like you've been doing in the gym. Point at
You're holding too much. Let him go.
Шаг назад, он на тебя бросается, сделай шаг назад. Ты не цепляешься сразу же, не зажимайся передней рукой.
Just gotta let him go a little bit more. You're letting him get confidence up too much. Okay, I wouldn't say no more. Let him go.
Не зажимайся.
CompuBox numbers through round 4. Klitschko 34 out of 159, 21%. Brock 49 out of 171, 29%. Despite the seemingly nervous start in round 1, through 4 rounds, Brock has thrown more, landed more by CompuBox count.
There's a welt underneath the right eye of Brock, which indicates that some of those jabs are starting to tell.
Klitschko getting his jab between Brock's guard twice in a row. These are not hard jabs. Still perhaps not snapping it in the way that he can, but now those jabs begin to show a little bit more fire.
Yeah, I've counted about eight jabs that he's landed already in less than a minute of this round. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Let me tell you, those are not soft jabs. Vladimir's stepping into those jabs, so Calvin's definitely feeling him. He's snapping his head back.
Another good left-hand punch by Klitschko, this time turning it into a little left hook. And now the jab lands again, and again, and again. And the left hook lands again. Wladimir Klitschko having a big round with the left hand in round number 5. And Brock begins to hold his hands back and not throw as Klitschko begins to dominate with the jab. This is a sudden change in the fight taking place before your eyes in round number 5.
Brock's trainer told him to keep that right hand up and catch some of those jabs, but he's not doing a good job at it right now. This is when Brock needs to step up, when Klitschko's relaxing and resting a bit. He's already thrown 10 jabs, 15 jabs. Now he's resting. This is when Calvin needs to step it up.
And another left hook lands for Wladimir Klitschko. He's landed the jab and the left hook fluidly, as Lennox Lewis suggested he would have to do here in round number 5. Almost as though somebody turned on a light switch in Wladimir Klitschko here in the 5th round.
Break, let him go. Step back.
It was a situation where he was just tight. Now he's relaxed a bit. He's getting more looser and connecting with the jab.
Brock's confidence not where it was a round ago. Calvin Brock, highly intelligent man, will try to keep adjusting himself as Wladimir makes adjustments throughout the fight. Suddenly the jabbing contest belongs to Klitschko, and he landed a little right hand inside, and there's a bigger right hand. And Calvin Brock has taken a beating in the 5th round. Big left hook to punctuate the round for Wladimir Klitschko.
Time!
Don't stand in front of the guy.
Yeah.
Don't stand in front of the guy. Okay?
Right back with the right hand.
All right, how's your
Right
leg?
hand.
Okay. How's your leg? Yeah. Okay, listen.
Yeah. Look.
You don't want this guy to get in a rhythm. You understand what I'm saying?
You got to get off with your jab.
So you got to get off in the jab.
Okay.
Suck it up.
He killing him out pretty good.
Okay. You got to stay behind it, baby. Catch it, something gun good. Use different ones, okay?
Here's a